Welcome back to Give Me the Mic. Give Me the Mic is so happy to have you again today. Well, we're going to get started. I am so excited about this subject today because this is mental health month for our men. And we have a special guest that is really getting ready to open some doors for us to understand what is really going on. And my brother Zachary mentioned from what Jesus says, he is really going to elaborate on what Jesus has to say about our subject. Um, Mental health in our men, breaking the silence and what they're going through. Welcome, Zachary, my brother. Brother, I'm so excited about having you here with us to really go over this scripture that you just spoke about earlier before the show started. I'm really excited about you sharing that with our audience today. So I'm just going to let you dive in. I'm giving you the mic. Take it away right now, brother. And
All
again,
right, all right. Well, let's get with it. Put your seatbelt on, get locked, cocked, ready to rock. Here we go. 2 Corinthians 10:4, right? The Lord tells us the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God for the pulling down of strongholds. Sometimes you try to uh, remedy the problem with the wrong resource, but He gave you a physician for a specific reason. And when you couple that with that spiritual understanding, then you'll get well. Because what men that look like me do, we compartmentalize everything we go through. We don't want to show weakness by telling a woman nothing, you can't tell me this, I ain't nothing wrong with me and all that. But the Lord had a situation where a man came to him and with his son, and his son would throw himself in the fire. He said, Lord, sometimes my son would cast himself in the fire, and I brought him to your disciples, and they couldn't cast him out. But please have patience and compassion on us. Heal my son. And he told his disciples, he rebuked them. He said, how long can I tolerate you, you faithless generation? And he asked the man, do you believe that this can happen? He said, yes, Lord, but help my unbelief, because what happens is essentially is be it unto you according to your faith. Now, this is an empirical, real world situation where there was a guy named David Berkowitz in New York. You might have heard of the case. It was very popular in the 70s. In 1977, he was around killing people in Central Park, talking about a demon told him through a dog to kill these people. Now he's a born again Christian. I have no reason to believe he was lying. Now I believe that there's spiritual warfare. I just told you the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. But he tells you in Romans 10:9, be not conformed, 10:2, 1 and 2, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing your mind. Now he's got his mind renewed. He know he was under a spiritual attack and he should have gotten help, right? So what we're going to do tonight with our friend Asia is go into how you can get that help you need. So always trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him. He'll direct your path to the appropriate help that you need. Be not wise in your own mind. Depart from evil and fear the Lord. That's all I got for you.
thank you, brother. Oh, you sure know how to bring it in. And you have given away the secret of who our guest is.
What's
I
that?
wanted them to wait till that time come to hear from our. I mean, she's by popular
All
demand.
you have to do is hit the erase button, and they won't remember. You
Now
didn't
they
like Men
know.
in Black.
Now they know who she's gonna
Not you
be.
can't keep telling them that. We were faking it, man. That's not our guess. You gotta
But
you gotta clean up on aisle two. Come on now.
but I hope you all stay tuned to the end. I'm telling you, this young lady is powerful. And like my brother was saying, she is a professional therapist However, she knows how to cast out them demons.
Hallelujah.
And like my brother was saying, listen, we got to have the, well, this wouldn't be called carnal way, would it, Zach, having
No,
therapy,
well,
right?
look, Luke was a physician. It's just
Okay,
that you'll be guided to a spiritual solution to a carnal problem,
I
and
got
then
you.
and this is the right person for it.
Yeah,
If you
because
try to,
Asia, she go beyond just the therapy.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
she has the power to cast them out. So,
amen.
but I'm not gonna spill that. We wait for this commercial. Come on, Woody, give us our commercial because I cannot wait to get to our guests. No, you haven't. Hold on a second. Okay. Well, we'll just go straight. If the commercial is not working right now, we're gonna go straight to Asia because I can't wait to hear what Asia is going to talk about. And she's none other than Asia Page. Now, give a hand to Asia. She is now a married woman. We's married now, Asia. Yeah, yeah. I'm so excited about you joining this side of life, a married woman. And
Well, thank
with all this knowledge and wisdom that you have on the inside, I know you're going to have a successful union with your new husband. But Asia, the reason I call you back because only you, and I believe only you, will be able to tell us how to break the silence in men that are dealing with mental health. So many men are dealing with things that they feel that they have to suppress because of this imagery that they're supposed to portray as being a strong man. My brother Zachary said that when he was growing up, daddy used to tell him, "Suck it up, boy, you a man." And that could sometimes keep men from really expressing their emotions. And can you imagine just all that balled inside? And when they're married or in any kind of relationship, these things surface and no one really understand why they're reacting to certain things in certain ways. So I think the people need to understand, what are men really facing today to keep them in that mental health state. I get
thank you, Miss Faye. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here again to speak on such a sensitive topic, but well needed for such a time like this. Uh, Men generally do have an issue talking about what they feel. And culturally, males will find themselves grappling with prescriptive cultural ideas about being macho. Uh, and they'd seek to be culturally accepted. And so we have this notion that men should be tough and not show emotions. And this struggle, Miss Faye, can contribute to their mental health issues. So we have a cultural factor that is affecting how men present themselves daily. And that presentation can come across as a mask, hiding what they truly feel. Secondly, we have men seeking to be socially acceptable. So we have society and also how men are raised at home dictating how they should be. So traditionally, men have been less likely to seek support for mental health issues. That's just a no no. And we understand that we have a big stigma already associated with mental health. And now we have that coupled with being socially acceptable in society and
Right,
wanting
right.
to be macho. So there are a lot of factors that are affecting how men would approach mental health. Uh, so, like I said, stigma, wanting to be that strong male type is a stereotype. It's still very prevalent. And the idea of expressing emotion for men is actually a sign of weakness. So they wouldn't even speak of emotions. They don't even think that emotions is a thing. And
Right.
so, with this said, we have men wearing masks and we have emotions being suppressed. So, one of the things is that I do like to tell individuals, whether male or female, is that emotions must be expressed and not suppressed. We are given emotions for a reason, and I like to go as far as to say that we need to befriend them. However, sometimes they may seem painful, but they're there for a reason. They're there to send us messages. The problem is that men and women have been conditioned by society not to show emotions but to wear different masks.
Wow.
So men tend to present the mask of toughness, and so that's like keeping up. It's putting a lot of effort in daily to keep up with portraying themselves as tough. And so when men
Wow.
wear masks to be tough and they're suppressing emotions, then they're betraying themselves and they're betraying the messages of these emotions. So it is important for men to address emotions. But I will say, to start with, at home, we need to raise our young boys to befriend their bodies and to be self affirming and to acknowledge that emotions are okay to express because everybody, every human being, they have emotions and emotions serve a purpose. But if we suppress these emotions, what happens over time is that they're going to want to present themselves somehow, some way, because they must be expressed. What we see a lot in our men is aggression, anger, because they've been masking these emotions for so long.
Mhm.
Secondly, they don't have tools or support to cope with these emotions. They don't know what to do. And like I
Wow.
said, they're going to come out one way or the other. So they're going to come out most of the time through anger, aggression, and then we see other mental health issues like anxiety issues, depression. So our men do suffer from mental health issues that they have not addressed. And unaddressed mental health issues only worsen over time.
Right.
And
Right.
so this is what we have bleeding out into our families because it's a
Right.
problem. And this is what we're teaching the next generation. And so
Right.
this is a problem. So we're passing down our own traumas because
Right.
we're not breaking the cycle.
So do you think okay, you're talking about the family, and I always heard that how a man treats his mother is how he's going to treat his wife or um, partner or whoever he's in a relationship with. Is that true?
So
How
there
his relationship with his mother? You keep saying family. Is it
So it's not definitive, but there's some truth to it. There are a lot of different factors which I just pointed out. But modeling at home definitely has an impact on a brain that we're shaping. So any information that's coming through, especially for our young boys, and what we teach them definitely has an impact on them when they go out there and how they treat others interpersonally. So there is some truth to that for sure.
Okay.
It's no different than if at home the child, boy child, is around a lot of aggression.
Right.
That's what they're being taught, how to cope with feelings that they have not coped with.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things that impact the developing brain.
Right.
So for a mother, depending on what's modeled to the child at
Right.
home, they're going to take that same information outside because that becomes their normal. That's what they
Right.
know. Okay?
Right. Right. And so I found out that just raising my grandson, cuz I didn't know what I know now when I was raising my son. But by raising my son, I realized certain things I didn't need to do with my grandson, or I would create the same monster I created in my son. Meaning that I was, they didn't have to show emotions because I was just so overly pacifying everything they did, what they needed. I was just overly compensating whatever they need. So they're gonna want a woman to do the same thing, and most women aren't gonna do all that. You get what I'm saying? So I say, I'm not gonna raise my grandson like this. I'm gonna raise him to share his emotions, learn how to hear, listen to what a woman is saying and asking for, instead of expecting her to be like your mother, or expecting her to, do what your mother did all the time. You get what I'm trying to say? So, what do you think about changing the trajectory of what we raise our sons to be like, opposed to what they turn out to be?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think I am understanding what you're saying. So I will start off with what I had said earlier. We have to teach our young boys at home to learn to befriend themselves, get an idea of knowing who they are, be able to identify their own emotions, be able to identify what may trigger an emotion within them, give the emotion a name, and then be self affirming. That's where we can start. Our boys don't know what emotions are, and they can't self affirm.
Right,
So once they are able to do that and they are confident in that space, that's how we can send them out and they will be sensitive to others around them.
right.
So we can't ask them to be sensitive to others because many times they are emotionally unavailable because
Oh,
they don't know how to tap into their own self and understand that self has emotions and emotions are there for a reason to serve them. So we have to break that stigma also where they believe that emotions are weak. So if we can start off at home by helping them to be more self affirming, more introspective, and befriend themselves and be okay, be confident with their own emotions. Once they are in that space, then they are more emotionally available to others. So what I'm saying is that they're going to be able to show up for others because they are showing
right,
up for
right.
themselves.
Because my brother, Zachary Mitchum, he is a mama's boy. And and women these days are not going to cater to all these needs that you get from your mother. I'm sorry, brother. And my son is a mother's boy. And I'm glad he has the wife he has, because most women will be like, listen, you know, your mama is your mama. I'm not doing all of that. So, but my daughter-in-law, she is amazing. She's amazing. She knows Bailey is a mama's boy. But I don't want my grandson pulling on anybody like that because most women are having their own issues. Am I right, Asia?
Yes, yes.
And so they need to know how to identify with themselves and find um, their self identity. Look how my brother look. And not pull on the woman to fulfill all those empty spaces. I love my husband because he don't need none of that. He is confident in who, he don't need all that baby stuff. But look how Zach.
I ain't asked for no therapy.
This
I
boy,
think
I'm telling you,
somebody crossing the line.
Zach loves his mother, and nothing's wrong
Indeed,
with.
I do.
I know, but a lot of women do not know how to address those needs that you get from your mother. If you know what I'm trying to say,
All I
Asia,
want to get
Asia, you know what
something
I'm
to eat.
trying to say, Asia, right?
So, so one
And
of the
that's
things how we can make those healthy changes
come on,
is to talk to mom and to talk to the dads in the house, right? It's imperative. Yes, we love moms who are nurturing, but we also want mom and we want dad to ensure that they're raising young boys
come on,
to consider that these young boys are going to be men one day for future families on their own. So we want to make sure that we raise them to release them to be men who are going to stand strong for themselves and for their families. And there's nothing wrong with, moms and dads loving and nurturing their emotional needs and other needs, but just to keep in mind that you're raising them to release them one day to be to stand as a man for themselves and for their families. and
because go ahead. I'm sorry.
and this helps me also to raise another issue that our families are facing
Right.
is that we have moms sometimes who are raising boys and girls. And so boys and girls only get to have the moms who are nurturing, to children. So we really want to put some emphasis on, we do have great dads out there, but we do want to put the emphasis on the fact that we do have broken homes also out there.
Mhm.
And so if we want to see change and we want to see growth, we really have to start putting out a calling out there for our men to really step up. Because like I said earlier, we model to our children, whether it's mom or whether it's dad. And there is a lot of relevance in having the mom role, and the dad role in the lives of our children, because children are learning, there is this
Mhm.
social learning. And
Right.
so in the absence of these parents, children are going to fill in the blanks, whether they're going to fill it in with getting support outside on the street,
Yes, that's what I'm
because
saying.
they children need support and they need love and they need family. And so with that strong need, they're going to go outside for it. So I just wanted to plug that also, because
Right.
that's another factor, another issue that we face today with our young men. And we want to break the cycle of things that we don't like, and we want to make the change so that our families can now stand and be sustainable. But we want to pay attention to what we are giving them
Mhm.
to stand on.
Yeah, and that's why I really feel there's so much mental illness because they are holding in how they were raised, what they did not receive in the home, um, and how they felt when they get in relationships and they're not getting what they, you know, used to get from their mother or from their father, and now they're in a relationship. So they're suppressing. Oh, they're so uncomfortable. They're so unhappy. And the more they are unhappy in a relationship, like you say, you're going to see anger, bitterness. it's gonna be uncomfortable to live with someone who has been broken by their parents, especially with men with a woman. If a woman has broken a man as a parent, they usually I see usually go into a relationship broken and are treating their significant other based on their relationship they had with their mother. Am I true with saying that, Asia?
Yeah, there is some truth, definitely truth to that. And I also want to point out this, that a lot of times when we speak of, engaging in relationships, as we're talking about males and hurt and aggression and childhood experiences, we want to consider that a lot of times that men or women engage in relationships, they are not ready for those relationships. So it's just a transfer of a lot of childhood wounds. And another thing is this, which is very important: whatever was wrong at home with relationships in the childhood, most of the time they want to fix those problems in intimate relationships. So the solution is that, okay, if I have this person, if I have this in this person, I'm going to be okay. And then that's where we notice that we encounter a lot of relationship problems, because that's not the solution. So we have to face, like we were saying earlier, the hurt from childhood that we're not allowing our young boys to talk about, the fears that we're not allowing them, we're not
Yes.
creating the safe spaces for them to be able to talk about their emotions. Another
Yes.
thing is that they don't know how to. So most of the times what you will see is that they shut down. So
Right.
when they do engage in relationships, they don't know how to communicate in relationships. And we hear the woman saying that the men don't know how to communicate. So we've got to raise our boys to be able to talk about what they feel. It's okay.
It's okay.
Talk about what they feel, because whatever need is not met in childhood, they're still going to want to have those needs met in adulthood. Not because the child is now an adult, they have solved all their problems. They're just taking these problems. Our men are taking over these problems into their relationships, and the cycle continues.
Mm. Uh, I want to hear what Zachary has to say about that. Zach, can you give us
Oh,
your
do you?
input?
Oh,
Yes,
do you?
I do.
Look, Miss Asia, the Lord said, "Blessed are the peacemaker, because you'll be called the children of God." You try to maintain peace, but there ain't gonna be no peace because she done crossed the line. But anyway, this is a very interesting situation about relationships. Going into a relationship, don't ever get a stray dog or rescue pet or anything like that, because animals process information differently too. So what might meant to be a petting thing is an aggressive thing to the animal, right? So if you're in a relationship, you reading something wrong based on how you got it from your parents or your family, your sister, brother, and that person say, "Are you goofy? What's wrong with you? Why don't you grow up? You act like a kid." What are you talking about? Case in point, people were always talking about Michael Jackson being freaky and crazy, having children in the bed. Well, I'm getting ready to let the cat out of the bag. When we come over as elderly people, 66, 70, you might have 5 people in my mother's bed, at ranging from 80 to 70 years old in the same bed. And people might say, what's going on in here? What's wrong? Because they haven't been processed that way. It's not the same kind of vibe. When you got 10 children, all sorts of crazy different scenarios go around. You don't have a room that you can just put the baby boy in. You got 9 girls. Are you crazy? You can't buy clothes just for a little boy. So, I mean, a lot of dynamics go into, well, why is he wearing that? Well, I wore my sister's clothes. It ain't nothing feminine about me. You don't want to find out, you know? but I had to wear those little, those little black and white cheerleader shoes thing, cause that was kind of crazy until I got my, cause your shoe, how you gonna buy school clothes for 9 children, I
Uh-huh.
mean, so that, and you're a maid making $5 a day. So everything you said is true. You have to understand the dynamic you're getting into and what you're getting into before you do it. And that's all I gotta say about that, without letting everybody in the world on YouTube know my business. That's all I'm saying.
About you being
Yeah,
a
whatever.
mama's boy, you a
I didn't
mama's
think I
boy.
was gonna get no therapy today. I got
Well,
therapy today.
listen, I we get ready to end this broadcast and put up Asia's advertising because everybody need to go and sign up for therapy with Asia. That's her information. She when I tell you she did a great job with my grandson, and I'm telling you, just that little time she spent with him has changed his life. He looks at life in a whole different perspective. And so if you have children, men, call Asia. Women, call Asia. Is her number up, or website, how you can reach her? Call Asia. I'm telling you, she will pray with you even as she's giving you therapy. And I promise you, she will help change your life. Thank you again, Asia, for coming on. And we're going to give this mic right back to our audience. I want to thank all my sponsors and supporters, all dolled up, giving the mic, AFG LLC, the Mitchum family, the Hunter HC Innovation, AJ Jackson and Company, Jesus People Ministry, and English Brown Winery. Heart Sister is going to be our benefactor for our um, annual charity event, Trifling Ones, Fortune, Radical Change Production, Dr. Manu Rami, and KD Design. We want to thank you for all your support that you're doing for our